Welcome to the Surin Islands, where the ocean breathes and the indigenous Moken people survive. Oh, and subscribe, before this place convinces gravity to resign. For 4,000 years, these sea gypsies roamed freely across the Andaman Sea. Their entire existence was a magnificent marine nomadism. They were born on wooden boats, learning to swim long before they could walk. In their native language, the concepts of wanting or possessing personal property simply do not exist. Yet, the modern world arrived with its rigid borders and extreme conservation. I mean, look at these fragile huts crammed on dry sand. Their traditional half-submerged lifestyle was completely stripped away by law. Forced ashore, the children of the ocean are now bound to the shallow tides. This forced settlement disrupted their profound ecological connection and natural hygiene cycle. Now, their survival heavily depends on the relentless waves of mass tourism. The irony of civilization is turning proud ocean guardians into souvenir vendors. Visitors stroll through this artificially compressed village, admiring a slowly fading culture. Wow, women meticulously carve wooden sea turtles and miniature boats, selling fragments of their glorious maritime heritage to curious foreign strangers passing by. Every carved piece echoes a lost freedom. These highly flammable thatched roofs became a deadly trap during the tragic fire of 2019. Inside the bamboo kitchens, the rhythm of daily life continues. Under filtering tropical sunlight, tourists eagerly consume these exotic aesthetics, without understanding the pain. Colorful bracelets mask the deep existential crisis of a stateless indigenous community. A young Moken girl quietly strings seashells, disconnected from her ancestral waters. Modern consumerism slowly erodes their ancient society from the inside. This bustling market is a stark contrast to their silent, vast ocean. Children paint memories of the sea, capturing a vibrant world they are increasingly forbidden from. They are trapped between national borders and the heavy pressure of survival. The wooden fish remain motionless, just like the Moken people, stranded on this dry land. Their homes face the ocean, constantly yearning for a life now criminalized. Master boat builders are now reduced to whittling small trinkets to feed their families. Each shell necklace represents a heavy chain, tying them to the mainland. Strangers walk through their living space, turning their tragic reality into entertainment. Resting in the shadows, they watch the modern world dictate their fate. Women gather on the sand for a game, finding joy amidst uncertainty. She waits patiently for buyers, her profound maritime heritage completely overlooked today. This young girl inherits a fractured legacy, caught between ancient tides and tourist dollars. As the shadows lengthen, the Moken quietly endure the suffocating embrace of landlocked civilization. Modern education slowly replaces ancient ocean wisdom. Children in purple uniforms eat together, drifting from their heritage. Tourists wander through shaded sandy paths, completely oblivious to the deep spiritual world hidden here. But the Moken soul still breathes. They passionately beat traditional drums and dance around the sacred Lobong spirit poles. A young man skillfully carves a Kabang boat using only an axe. Tragically, these legendary boat-building skills are now often reduced to crafting cheap tourist souvenirs. Visitors casually stroll past the highly flammable thatched stilt houses. The ocean waits patiently for its true children to return. Crammed tightly together on dry sand, these modern settlements ignore the ancient wisdom of building half-submerged homes over cleansing tides. Every single home is now forced to double as a souvenir shop. Only a few structures still dare to reach out toward the blue water. This entire coastal village holds a miraculous secret of survival. While tourists blindly enjoy the sun, the Moken red nature. In 2004, this crystal-clear Andaman water suddenly retreated, exposing the bare seabed. That eerie silence wasn't a beautiful phenomenon. It was the deadly warning of the laboon. The laboon is their terrifying oral legend of a giant, flesh-eating, and absolute cleansing wave. They didn't wait for modern sirens or government rescue boats. Today, oblivious tourists float on the surface, snorkeling, unaware that the profound indigenous knowledge of the Moken saved everyone here from the deadly tsunami. Below the surface lies the magnificent coral reef ecosystem that shaped their extraordinary evolutionary abilities. This vibrant purple coral is part of the most biodiverse marine park in Thailand. Wow, tiny blue fish dart through this complex underwater architecture constantly. Just like these clownfish seeking refuge in anemones, the Moken belong entirely to this delicate marine environment. The massive reef structures provide endless resources. The Moken practice a brilliant cycling method, moving constantly, to allow this fragile ecosystem enough time to recover. Sharp branching corals form a treacherous, yet beautiful maze for free divers. A venomous lionfish hides in the shadows, a deadly reminder of the ocean's hidden dangers. Dense schools of snapper navigate the currents, completely undisturbed by human presence. Flat table corals stretch out like golden platforms across the shallow seabed. This thriving marine life faces very strict modern conservation laws today. Ironically, those laws criminalize the Moken's traditional and highly sustainable foraging methods. Looking down at these clownfish, you realize the Moken are being treated as intruders in their own home. Fish swim freely around the purple coral, enjoying a liberty humans lost. The vibrant mixed corals represent a balanced world that is slowly disappearing. Another clownfish nestles safely, untouched by the political borders drawn above water. A Moorish idol gracefully glides by, showcasing its long, elegant dorsal fin. This breathtaking panoramic underwater view is the ultimate training ground. It is here that Moken children forge a profound, almost supernatural physical connection with the ocean. While the clownfish rely on the green anemone for survival, the Moken rely entirely on their unparalleled ability to read, respect, and adapt to the sea. Even the venomous, bright red crown of thorned starfish is just another familiar neighbor to them. Parrotfish nibble the reef, echoing the eternal rhythm of nature. Today, the Surin Islands are flooded with endless waves of mass tourism. Speedboats aggressively tear through the Andaman Sea, bringing thousands of eager visitors every single day. These pristine green islands have now been rapidly transformed into an incredibly lucrative national park. Countless wooden boats now crowd the once silent and completely undisturbed shorelines. Wooden piers welcome the constant daily influx. Floating plastic bridges replace their natural shores. Heavy luggage is unloaded, marking the heavy footprint of civilization. Welcome to Mainam Beach, where ancient indigenous culture fades. Signs direct tourists, while indigenous voices fade. Hundreds of colorful camping tents are tightly squeezed under the remaining trees. Crowded outdoor dining areas generate massive amounts of plastic waste, an overwhelming daily modern noise. Even the elusive flying lemurs clinging high in the green canopy cannot escape the suffocating presence of this booming modern tourism industry. Wildlife is forced to observe this modern chaos. From above, the clear, shallow water looks like a playground. People casually swim and walk along the breathtakingly beautiful white sand beaches. Tourists sunbathe comfortably, completely ignorant of the Moken's painful struggle for survival. A simple swing becomes a perfect photo spot for these temporary visitors. Tourists enjoy the shallow waters. Tents now occupy their ancestral sacred shores. A tourist swims gracefully, enjoying the ocean as a mere recreational luxury. Snorkelers float lazily, admiring the surface without understanding deeper depths. Massive boulders stand silently, witnessing this rapid and modern transformation. Tourists rest on rocks, claiming spaces the Moken once navigated. Dozens of commercial boats completely dominate the long sandy stretch. This overwhelming human presence slowly suffocates the natural rhythm of the island. The long wooden pier cuts into the lush forest, prioritizing economic growth over fragile nature. Tourists endlessly board and disembark, turning a sacred ancient homeland into a busy transit hub. Speedboats aggressively slice through the blue water. Small motor vessels scatter across the sea, disrupting ancient peace. A long-tail boat rushes toward the horizon. But look closely. A traditional Kabang boat silently sails away, taking us right back to the true, untamed Moken soul. A young hunter sits on the edge, preparing to enter his domain. 3 men plunge into the deep water. They freedive effortlessly, showcasing an absolutely incredible evolutionary adaptation, unique to their indigenous bloodline. Underwater, their pupils constrict maximally, acting exactly like a camera's aperture ring. Their eye lenses accommodate up to an astonishing 16 diopters of pressure. This biological miracle gives them sharp underwater vision almost instantly. He thrusts his spear downward with deadly precision, relying entirely on his extraordinary divine eyes. Gliding near the seabed, he reads the ocean like an open book. No oxygen tanks, just pure lung capacity and absolute focus. He navigates complex coral crevices, a skill honed through countless generations of harsh marine survival. His shadow glides over the deep reef, a master predator, completely in his natural element. A perfect strike hits a hidden stingray, sending sand flying everywhere. This is the raw reality of a true indigenous ocean hunter. Cooking inside the Kabang proves the ocean is their home. Will the shore blind them forever? Subscribe.